Hello and welcome to another episode of Evo Inspires. I'm Joel Hayward. I lead the cybersecurity and infrastructure team here at Evolution Australia, where we connect the brightest minds in technology with businesses shaping the future. Today, I'm joined by Akif Kayapinar, a global cybersecurity leader with over 15 years of experience driving secure by design programs at enterprise scale. Akif has built and embedded security frameworks that not only align with regulatory requirements, but truly enable business growth, from secure cloud-native architecture to DevSecOps and secure SDLC best practices. Currently at Mastercard, Akif has led security strategy for the organization's largest global program, protecting services used by over 100,000 customers. He's also served as the regional CISO for Mastercard in Turkey, ensuring compliance with central bank regulations, remediating over 20,000 legacy vulnerabilities, and leading distributed security teams across multiple continents. And he's also a Liverpool FC supporter, which is a great bonus for me. Pleasure to have you on board, Akif. We'll get stuck straight into it with the first question. So, what's your approach to framing cybersecurity not as a blocker, but a business enabler?
Thanks for having me, Joel. So the first question is actually a great question, and it actually reflects on how much the role of cybersecurity has evolved over the past decade. So when we think about 10 years ago, security was often seen as purely operational, focused on just locking things down, minimizing risk, and sometimes even seen as a department of none. But today we are seeing a real shift. Even the terminology actually kind of changing. So when we think about, again, like past 10 years ago, from information security, now we are having teams in big organizations called business security enablement. So, and that also reflects on the mindset shift. Security is no longer just about protection. It's about enabling the business. My approach is to generally embed security in early business conversations, not as an afterthought. So I work closely with product, engineering, and the business teams to understand their goals, and then ask how we can enable this securely in a way that builds trust and still keeps us agile. And when security aligns with business priorities, it becomes a driver, not a roadblock. Yeah. And also, like, as a last thing, generally, we are thought as like a blocking road and things like that, but it actually opens a lot of roads too. So when we think about complying with PCI DSS or ISO 271, it opens doors for new businesses.
Very good. No, fantastic. And I think obviously with the rise and implementation of AI in businesses as well, the cybersecurity practice needs to align accordingly with AI, because with the rise of AI, there is greater threats. So the cybersecurity practice is essential for enabling those projects to go underway. That's excellent. Next question. What are the challenges and advantages of leading geographical dispersed security teams? Yeah. And you're global, right?
Yes, I have teams in many different regions. And I think one of the biggest challenge is creating real connections and alignment with, since you're not in the same room, and most of the time you're not even in the same time zone. So you have to be very intentional about communication, making sure everyone understands the bigger picture and feels part of the mission and have opportunities to contribute meaningfully. And, that just goes beyond just status updates. It's about trust, clarity, and building real human connection. And the upside of that, having, dispersed team is the diversity, the difference of culture, experiences. So, and also, of course, the coverage, because you start covering 24/7 and a lot of different perspectives. So it makes your team more resilient and creative. Basically, it makes them a better problem solver in the long run. But I think, this is just coming from pure experience, from my experience. To truly make it work, I like these words, empowerment and responsibility. I think those are the key for me. The decisions shouldn't just come from top and down. So it has to be collaborative work, and the team, the people have to take ownership. They have to understand the business context. They have to understand the risk and feel confident to make decisions. And that actually helps people grow. And it develops the critical thinking. It develops confidence. And when you create space for them to take initiative, it's just you're basically growing future leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. And empowerment's definitely a key there. And I suppose you trust the managers that sit underneath you as well in those designated areas.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No. But I think the challenge is when you're working such a big organization, every decision becomes really risky and critical. So people generally tend to get scared and do not want to make decisions. So you just have to keep empowering them.
Of course. Just out of interest as well, Akif, how do you kind of touch base with your managers in those different geographical locations? Do you have daily stand-ups, weekly stand-ups sort of thing?
I have weekly catch-ups, yeah. But cool. I don't remember any day in the last 9 years in Mastercard that no one connected me on the same day.
Oh, fair enough. Excellent. Next question then. How do you embed secure software development lifecycle into fast-paced development environments without slowing down delivery?
So I think the key is to move away from the old model where security came at the end and said, okay, here is the list of issues, fix them. So it just doesn't work in fast-paced environments. So my approach is basically integrate security into the process itself early, seamlessly, and as little friction as possible. So the main concept is shifting left, right? So we have been talking about shifting left, and it's been the topic for the last 10 years maybe. So, but I think understanding shifting left and making the business, the developers, the architects, the operations team understand it is the key thing, because when you shift left, you catch the design flaws and the bad patterns, the vulnerabilities, the findings early on. And then you don't need to start the process or rework the whole thing again. So it saves time, it saves money, it makes teams more efficient. And as long as the business and the developers understands this, they actually fully invested in this thing. And that was the key for me to show how it works, how it actually affects, how it makes us efficient. And most of the time, the one of the biggest mistakes, actually, I even seen in my organization, because in my organization we have a lot of different programs, and I lead one of the programs, and I see from their mistakes, like we try to be, as security leaders, we tend to make our own processes. We love our processes. We just put everything in there. But I think showing a secure SDLC as a different process, it makes things harder. It should be part of the one main process. Security should be part of the development process, not a separate process that we put in front of the developers. Yeah. And I think, finally, of course, since we are, in a very fast-paced environment lately, automation is very essential. You have to put all the security scanning tools and everything into the CI/CD pipeline so that there is no manual effort going on.
For sure. That's interesting. Brilliant. Okay, Keith, and to wrap up then, what advice would you give to early career professionals entering the cybersecurity field today? Or I like to phrase this as well. If you were to speak to yourself starting out in your career, what advice would you give yourself?
I think I was so rushed on myself. I felt like I had to know a lot of things at once, and then you figure out it's impossible, because cybersecurity is a broad field, right? So it has cryptography, it has network security, offensive security, SOC, risk governance, just to name a few. So a lot of things. And they have to take it slowly, and they have to kind of start a bit of general and then find their, the field that they're interested in, and they just have to follow it. But I think the most important thing is building a foundation. So they need to know the basics. Like, they need to understand how the system communicate, how the system works. As long as they find, they build those foundation, they will be flexible to move across different areas in corporate security. And, in this world, everything is about communication, right? So developing their soft skill is important. In the past, I remember, I'm like in industry for 15 years now. So it was all about technicality. So if you know things, you're gold. It doesn't work that way anymore. You have to have, develop your soft skills. You have to work as a team. You have to collaborate with business. You have to understand the business. So developing the soft skills, I think, really important. And I think lastly, as corporate security, as a security leader, curiosity is very important. So it doesn't matter how experienced you are, you still keep learning every day. And, because technology is changing, everything is changing. So you have to keep being curious. And I think, I just want to add this one as a last thing. I remember I just face this in meetings all the time. People say, oh, can I, I'm sorry, it might be a stupid question to ask. And I just laugh each time I hear that one, because for me, there is no stupid question. Every question is important. It's just a chance to learn for yourself. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, do not be afraid. Keep being curious, keep asking questions, and just, try to grow.